Welcome to Wednesday Coffee Talk, and welcome to spring. Oh, hold on, there's hair on my screen. And happy new moon. So we have a lot going on this week. So I wasn't going to do a live today, but I have some time, so I figured I'd fit it in. And I want to talk to you guys about the cleanse, right? I want to talk to you about the concept of a cleanse or a reset or a refresh or a detox or whatever you want to call it, whatever social media is calling it these days. Because next week we do our own version of a cleanup, okay? So cleanses are thousands of years old, right? Back to what I like to call torture medicine, right? Where leeches and starving you for wellness and all of that stuff, right? Like, here, drink this horrible tasting concoction of herbs because it's going to basically clean out your liver, blah, blah, blah. So cleanses are thousands of years old. That doesn't necessarily make them good or bad. And I want you to think about why you would be tempted to do a cleanse in the first place. Okay, so what is it that's driving you to want to clean up? What is it about how you're feeling that feels like you need to clean something up or detox, right? And for most of it, it's because we're coming off of winter. And even thousands of years ago, right? What happens when you're coming off of winter? You're eating kind of the not ideal food, right? You're eating whatever you have left. You're making do. You're probably not eating a heck of a lot, right? But now in today's day, we are coming off of 5-6 months of overindulgence. Too many calories, too heavy food. We've got everything starting in September, right? We've got cookies and pastries and baking and bread and heavy soups and stews and holiday foods, sugar, alcohol, all of this stuff that goes from, essentially, right? September. So Halloween in October, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, right? Like, so there's something to be overindulgent with. And the one thing that is consistent is I hear from my clients, well, I just need to get through this weekend and then I can start over. I just need to get through the holidays and then I can focus with the new year. But then the new year comes and it's like, oh, wait, then there's Valentine's Day. And oh, wait, then there's St. Patrick's Day. And right. So we have all of these reasons to put off being mindful. So cleanses are not bad. Okay. What we have done to them in modern day times is a little extreme, right? Just drinking celery juice or eating cabbage soup, or totally not doing anything whatsoever, right? Like, so fasting completely and doing nothing but lemon water for 5 days. Those are not probably going to serve you unless you have a colonoscopy coming, right? So probably, and all of that comes from the idea of, we have to flush everything out and lose all this weight and get ready for swimsuit season, or, sun's out, guns out, all that like crazy social media, just like those one-liners and marketing and all of that. The concept behind a cleanse is very sound. It's supporting your liver. It's supporting your digestive system. Okay. These are good things. I just threw my pen. These are good things. You want to support your liver. You want to support your digestive system because that is where everything else stems from, right? Your digestive system is where you get nutrients to build tissue, right? So bone and muscle and keep your heart going and your lungs and all of that, right? Brain tissue, nerve tissue, all of that supports your immune system, right? All of that. Your liver is basically your janitorial staff. Its job is to take things that your body doesn't use from food and breathing and all of the processes that we go through every day, and it takes care of those things, right? So those two systems are super important to be supported. And yet we abuse them, right? Of course we do. So the theory behind a cleanse or a refresh or a fresh start or whatever you want to call it, the theory is sound. Now, what do we know now that we did not know thousands of years? Leeches, probably not the best idea, right? Although they did work for a few things, but not a good idea. We don't really do that anymore. Cleanses, maybe a good idea, but probably not so dramatic. When we get into this restrictive thinking, we're setting ourselves up for later on cravings or having these uncontrollable urges or just feeling guilty, which it snowballs, right? You restrict something, you can only restrict it so long, and then you're exposed to it and you binge on it, and then you feel guilty, and then you're going to restrict it again, and the cycle just keeps going on and on and on. So we don't really want to get into this restrictive thinking pattern. But we do want to clean things up, right? We do want to get hydrated. We do want to make sure that our digestive system is functioning great. And after all of these months of, heavy carbs and sugar and alcohol and all of that, even if we've been doing very well and we've been eating really well considering all the holidays, there's still, with winter, there's overeating, undermoving, maybe not sleeping so well, right? So there's always an opportunity to clean things up. So we want to look at how can we support our digestive system and how can we support our liver. And that is essentially the purpose of a detox or a cleanse or whatever you want to call it. What are we calling it? Reset, reboot, refresh, detox, cleanse. Those are all the words that I wrote down that I've seen around. So I don't care what you call it, but that's what we're going to do starting next week. Is we're going to transition away from the heaviness of winter. We're going to transition into the lightness of spring, hopefully getting us into summer. We're going to draw on, the ancient Ayurveda principles of nourishing, right? And switching over from things that are, that are more warming, right? Because we needed warming foods in the winter, and we might not need that so much going forward. We're going to look at making sure that we're well hydrated after a long winter, right? Very drying in the winter. So now we need to really focus on that. We're just going to give our attention to supporting our body. Okay. So I have this 5-step mindful and balanced look at what a cleanse could be. And I've been using versions of this every year in the spring and then again in the fall. It's good to kind of do it twice, but we're really going to focus on the spring one. So just 5 steps. We're going to do these 5 steps for 5 days because why not? We can do things for 5 days, right? If you want to go longer, you absolutely can. If you want to do a specific eating pattern at the certain, during this time, I have a 28-day meal plan for you if you want to pick and choose recipes from there. But basically what we're doing is we're going to remove the things that aren't serving us moving forward into spring and summer. The foods, the habits, the things that we were doing in the winter that are not appropriate for the summer. Okay, so we're going to remove those things. Heavy carbs, sugar, alcohol, the heavy fats, right? We're going to replace those with things that are better for us. So we're going to get rid of those things. We're going to get rid of the mindset of going to bed at 5 p.m. I know none of us actually went to bed at 5 p.m., but we really wanted to. We're going to get rid of the mindset of it's too cold to move around or, maybe refresh the workout. Okay. So we're going to remove things that aren't serving us, look towards things that are. We're going to nourish. We're going to focus our attention and intention, our awareness on nourishing. Okay. So what are the foods that we need to support our digestion and support our liver? And we're going to go into those next week. And we're going to focus on that. What is the movement that we need to focus on to nourish? Okay. What are the sleep habits that we need to nourish and give our body the space to do the detoxing it needs? What are the stress management things that we need to do? Okay. So we're going to look at all that. And then we are going to, the third piece is hydrating. You had to know it was coming, right? So hydrate, water, teas. What ways are we getting fruits, veggies, fluid containing foods? What ways are we getting our juiciness back, right? Because we're dry after winter. So let's get the juiciness back. And then number 4 is making space. So this is the one that people struggle with because we live in a modern world. So we're going to focus on making space for our meals and between our meals. So I think that intermittent fasting is not for everybody. Fasting in general, not always great, but we need to make space between our meals, especially between dinner and breakfast, right? That's when our janitor staff works. That's when they need to come out and they need to do their cleaning. And if you are working where they are trying to work, they are not going to be able to get things done, right? So your liver's not getting adequately cleaned when your body is focused on other things. Your digestive system is not having a chance to do its job of cleaning up if you are doing other things, okay? So we're going to focus on creating space, and I'm going to walk you through all that. And the last piece is being intentional. So this mindful and balanced cleanup is all about being intentional with the foods that you're putting in your body, intentional with the choices that you're making. That doesn't mean that they always have to be 100% perfect, right? Because nobody is perfect. It's not fun anyway. But we are looking at ways that we can be intentional. If you're going to eat Girl Scout cookies, then do it with intention. Okay, those boxes get smaller and smaller every year, and it is way too easy to eat an entire box if you're not paying attention. However, if you are intentional and you are tasting it and you are being present while you're doing it, then you don't necessarily need a whole box, right? 1 or 2 is fine, or 4 if they're Thin Mints, right? So when you are more intentional, you are satisfied with less. Same thing with a workout. You can go in and you can go through the motions of doing a strength training workout. If you're not paying attention, if your head isn't there, then you're not going to get as good a strength training workout as you would if you were being intentional about it, right? If you were paying attention and making the movements make sense for you. Okay. So let me recap. Cleanses, the way they used to be done with fasting and drinking weird concoctions, that's not necessary. Your body is going to do what it needs to do to refresh you, to support you, as long as you give it the raw materials. So we're going to give it the raw materials. We're going to get rid of the junk that we don't need. We are going to nourish with the things that are going to support digestion, liver, which then trickles down into hormone balance and weight management and all of the things, right? We're going to hydrate because nobody drinks enough water. We are going to focus on being present, right? Being mindful. I use those words interchangeably. And we are going to focus on being intentional. Creating space and being intentional, present, mindful. Okay. So that is kind of a look at what the detox or the cleanse or the cleanup or whatever you want to call it that we are doing next week. That's kind of a look at what we're going to be doing. It's 5 days. We're going to do all of those things for 5 days. And I'm going to talk about each one and get way more in depth and give more background and give more support on all of those things. All right. So, cleanse could be a good idea. Does it have to be extreme? Absolutely not. Can you still go out and go to dinner? 100%. Can you still have drinks with friends on Friday night? Absolutely. 100%. Can you avoid those things for 5 days if that's the way you choose to do it? There you go. 5 days, anybody can do it. Okay. So that is that. If you have questions, let me just make sure I said everything I wanted to say. I did. Okay. So if you have questions about that, let me know. It's important to get yourself signed up so that I can email you out the workbook so that you can have your own copy of the workbook. If you're not on the list, it's in here in the portal anyway. You can definitely do it there. But being on the email list is just a way to make sure that you're getting these prompts. and it lets me see, who likes to do what, and, whether or not you guys want more programs like this, and just helps me to do future programming. So get on the email list for the cleanse, the cleanup. Participate. There's going to be opportunities for you guys to ask me questions. There's going to be video lessons throughout the 5 days starting on Monday, and we're going to go through the whole week. All right, my friends, if you have more questions on this, if is it right for you, or do you have specific questions, absolutely go ahead and ask, and let me know that you're excited to get going with this. All right, I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to helping you guys feel better and lighter and energized for spring. And with that, I'm going to go take the dog for a walk. So I will see you guys again next week for sure. Mostly recorded videos, but you never know when I'm going to pop up. So yeah, just let me know if you guys have questions, and I will talk to you again next week.